As Logan pulled away from the house, he glanced in the rearview mirror and noticed Victoria's dark blue vehicle following behind him. A small smile crossed his face, but his heart was heavy with the conversation that still needed to happen. The drive to an old ice cream shop was quiet, the night air was cool, and the city lights reflected against the pavement as the two vehicles made their way towards the bridge. As he drove, Logan said another prayer. Father, thank you for bringing me this far. Thank you for every lesson, every correction, and every season that has brought me closer to you. Lord, I don't want my feelings to lead me. I don't want pride to lead me. I don't want hurt to lead me. I want you to lead me. Help me to be the man you have called me to be. Teach me to walk in wisdom, humility, patience, and love. Let my life bring glory to your name. And Father, if there's anything in me that is not pleasing to you, remove it. If there's anything you are still trying to teach me, help me to learn it. And tonight, as Victoria and I talk, help me to speak with grace, listen with understanding, and honor you in every word that comes out of my mouth. In Jesus' name, amen. Logan took a deep breath and continued driving towards the old ice cream shop by the bridge, completely unaware that this conversation would change far more than either of them expected. Victoria and Logan stepped up to the counter of the small ice cream shop. The smell of freshly made waffle cones filled the air as they looked over the menu. The young lady behind the counter smiled. "What can I get the two of you?" Logan glanced at Victoria. At the exact same moment, they both answered, "Two scoops of Rocky Road." The server laughed. Victoria and Logan looked at each other and laughed too. "Seriously?" Victoria asked. "You like Rocky Road?" Logan replied. "It's my favorite." "Mine too." Victoria shook her head. "That's weird." "No," Logan said with a grin. "That's impressive." A few moments later, they were handed their ice cream cones and made their way outside toward the water. Finding an empty bench overlooking the waves, they sat down beside each other and enjoyed the cool night air as the moon reflected across the ocean. Logan took a deep breath and looked out across the water before turning back to Victoria. "Victoria, I really enjoy your company. Since I met you, a lot has changed in me." Victoria's stomach tightened. Here it comes, she thought. Logan continued. "The last 2 weeks gave me a lot of time to think, a lot of time to pray, a lot of time to look at myself." Victoria quietly nodded. "And the more I prayed, the more I realized something." "What?" Victoria asked softly. Logan paused for a moment. "Victoria, I don't..." "You don't what?" "I don't know how to say this." "Just say it, Logan. Whatever it is, just say it." "I don't want to spend less time with you. Victoria, I want to spend more." Victoria blinked. "What?" "I want us to get to know each other better. I want us to pray together even more. I want us to go to church together. I want us to spend time together outside of phone calls and quick conversations. I want to know who Victoria really is." Victoria stared at him. The entire speech, she had prepared in her head suddenly disappeared. You scared me, Logan. Logan laughed. I did? Yes, Logan. The way you started that conversation, I thought you were about to tell me goodbye. Logan shook his head. No, not goodbye. Victoria felt herself finally relax. So what exactly are you expecting? I'm suggesting that tomorrow morning you come to church with me. Victoria smiled. Your church or my church? My church. What time? 11:30. Victoria nodded. And next week we can go to my church. Okay. Okay. The two smiled. Logan, since I met you, you've been a true friend. You've been there for me through some really difficult moments. Logan smiled. Well, apart from leaving me alone with the 6-foot grizzly bear. Logan groaned. We're still talking about that? Victoria took another bite of her ice cream. Oh, absolutely. Victoria? Nope, that's going on the shelf. The shelf? The shelf of things I'm bringing up whenever I need leverage. Logan laughed. That sounds fair. The two sat quietly for a moment, listening to the waves crash against the shore. As the conversation continued, they continued talking about life, faith, family, and the future. Some of their dreams looked different. Logan dreamed of expanding his business and possibly moving to another state one day. Victoria loved the life she had built and wasn't sure she wanted to leave it behind. Their paths didn't seem perfectly aligned, but neither of them felt the need to solve every future problem that night. For now, they agreed to keep walking, praying, learning, and growing together until they reached those bridges. And when they did, they would cross them together, hopefully. After discussing church for the next morning, the two stood outside for a few moments, neither quite ready to end the evening. They talked about what they would do after church, and Victoria agreed to cook lunch. What would you like? She asked. Seafood, Logan answered almost immediately. Victoria laughed. That's not very specific. Well, I trust your judgment. That may be the most dangerous thing you've said all night. Logan smiled. The conversation drifted from food to church, from church to family, and from family to future plans. Eventually, the night grew late. Victoria glanced toward her front door. I should probably get inside. Probably, Logan agreed. Neither moved. A few seconds passed before they both laughed. Okay, now we're being awkward, Victoria said. Just a little, Victoria smiled. Text me when you get home, Logan. Logan raised an eyebrow. Oh, checking up on me? No, Victoria replied quickly. Just making sure you're okay. That's what checking up on me means. Victoria rolled her eyes. Good night, Logan. Good night, Victoria. With one last smile, Victoria went inside while Logan returned to his vehicle. A short time later, as Victoria was preparing for bed, her phone buzzed. Logan. Made it home safely, the text message said. Victoria looked at the message and smiled. Victoria, good. Sleep well. See you at 11:30. For the first time in a few weeks, she set her phone down with peace in her heart. Victoria said her prayers and she went to bed. Lord, thank you for bringing us to a place of closure, and thank you for bringing Logan back to me. The next morning, Victoria woke up to the warm glow of sunlight streaming through her window. Stretching her arms above her head, she glanced over at the clock. 9 o'clock, she said, sitting up quickly. Oh my goodness, I'm running a little late. Normally that wouldn't have bothered her, as her church service didn't begin until 12:30, but today was different. Today she was going to Logan's church. Throwing the covers back, Victoria made her way into the kitchen. She started preparing breakfast and took out the shrimp she had planned to cook later that afternoon out of the freezer, placing it carefully in the refrigerator to thaw. As she moved around the kitchen, she couldn't help but smile. The evening before had gone much better than she expected. Just as she was about to head for the shower, her phone chimed. Victoria picked it up and saw a message from Logan. Good morning, beautiful. Here's the address to the church. I have to be there by 11:30. I'd like to meet you outside between 11:15 and 11:20. Hope to see you there. Victoria read the message twice before shaking her head and smiling. Good morning to you too, she whispered. Suddenly, she felt rushed. She still needed to shower, get dressed, and decide what she was going to wear. This wasn't just any church service. It would be the first time she would be attending Logan's church. And if she was being honest, she wanted to look real nice. Not because she was trying to impress anyone. Well, maybe just a little. Victoria walked toward her closet and immediately began searching for one of her favorite statement pieces. If she was going to church with Logan for the first time, she was going to make sure she looked her best. Victoria sat at her vanity, carefully applying her makeup while trying to decide which fragrance she should wear. She reached for one bottle, then another, before setting both back down and smiling to herself. Her mind drifted. It was only this time last year that she was walking to and from work, praying that somehow things would get better. It was only this time last year that she was still an associate at the firm, hoping that one day someone would see her value and give her an opportunity. So much had changed. As she blended her makeup, she thought about the prayers she had prayed in secret, the tears she had cried when nobody was watching, the conversations she had with God when she didn't know what direction her life was taking. It seemed that when she stopped focusing on everyone else and truly began bringing her life before God, things slowly began to change. A promotion, a new car, new opportunities, new friendships, and perhaps, just perhaps, the possibility of something more with Logan. A smile crossed her face. Then she remembered something her grandmother used to say. Baby, prayer changes things. Victoria could certainly testify that those words were true. In the span of 1 year, prayer had brought tremendous change into her life. But then she remembered something else Grandma used to say. Every blessing comes with a battle, baby. Every blessing comes with a battle. But baby, if there are no obstacles, there is no opportunity for God to show himself strong. Victoria nodded to herself. That was so true. She wished her grandma was alive to see how far she had made it in life. The promotion had come, but so had the false accusations at work. The new opportunities had come, but so many disappointments came as well. The possibility of love had come, but so had confusion, misunderstandings, and heartbreak. Yet through it all, God had remained faithful. Victoria glanced at the clock. 10:15. Her eyes widened. Oh my goodness. She still needed to get dressed, and Logan wanted to meet her at church by 11:15. Jumping up from her vanity, Victoria grabbed her robe and hurried toward her closet. It was time to get ready. It was 11:32 a.m. and Victoria was late. As she pulled into the church parking lot in her dark blue Genesis, her eyes immediately began searching the lot for Logan's vehicle. Row after row she looked, but she didn't see him. Sighing softly, she reached into her blue bag and pulled out her phone, intending to call him. That's when she noticed a text message waiting for her. The usher at the front door knows you're coming. Tell her you're Logan's guest. She'll bring you directly to me. Victoria smiled. Well, that explained everything. She stepped out of her vehicle, adjusted her dress, grabbed her purse, and headed toward the entrance. Just as Logan had said, an usher greeted her warmly and immediately escorted her inside. Victoria followed her down the aisle, expected to be seated somewhere in the middle of the sanctuary. Instead, they kept walking and walking and walking. As they passed pew after pew, Victoria's eyebrows softly lifted. Where are we going? She glanced around the sanctuary. Why are we headed all the way to the front? The closer they got to the front row, the more confused she became. Then she saw him. There sat Logan in his wine-colored jacket, looking as polished as a brand new luxury car fresh off the showroom floor. Victoria couldn't help but to smile. The usher motioned toward the empty seat beside him, and Victoria took her place. Logan glanced over. His eyes traveled from her elegant hairstyle to her dress, then down to her shoes before returning to meet her gaze. Victoria sat confidently beside him, crossed her legs, and faced forward. The opening prayer was beginning. After the prayer ended, Victoria leaned slightly toward Logan. Why are we all the way at the front? She whispered. Logan chuckled softly. Don't hold it against me, but there's something I never told you. Something you never told me? Victoria looked at him suspiciously. What? Logan smiled. I'm my pastor's armor bearer. I have to sit up front every Sunday. Victoria stared at him for a moment. Then she shook her head. We're definitely talking about this later. Before Logan could respond, the praise and worship team began making their way to the platform. Victoria settled back into her seat. As the music began to fill the sanctuary, she looked around and quietly reflected. Look at me. Where am I? I'm sitting in the front row of Logan's church. He's the pastor's armor bearer. And just a few months ago, we were complete strangers. A smile crossed her face. God certainly had a way of moving quickly, and sometimes his plans unfolded in ways she never could have imagined. Were you surprised to learn that Logan is his pastor's armor bearer? Or did you think that there was absolutely more to him that he was letting on? And do you think Victoria and Logan liking the same ice cream is just a coincidence? Or could it be one of those little ways God confirms that two people belong in each other's lives? Put your answer in the comment. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Once again, thanks for watching. See you again tomorrow.